Hey everybody, I am not sure if this is working. It won't really let me know if this is working or not. I'm hoping this is working. Oh, okay. I see a few of you here. Oh good, there's 6 of you. Okay. Welcome. This is the global community for adult survivors of complex trauma. And we have been showing up here every week for about 5 years. And we hang out and we have open discussions, and sometimes we do screen shares and we do a series. But the bottom line is, the most important thing is that you're surrounded by peers that understand what it's like to go through abuse over a long period of time with another person, and they're unable to get away. Now, whether that's perceived reality or an actual reality, complex trauma is when you're in relationship with another person, there's an uneven power dynamic, and there's either a perceived or real inability to get away. And the abuse happens over and over and over again, who knows how many times. And it happens over a long period of time, and we're unable to break free from that, and we're unable to heal, and we're unable to find our bearings, and we're unable to know what's real and what's not real. One of the most painful parts of abuse is knowing how to perceive or grasp reality. Because one of the most sinister parts of abuse is gaslighting. And there are videos on this channel and all over the internet talking about gaslighting. If you're unfamiliar with the term, basically it's psychological warfare, and it's someone trying to convince you that something you know is true, they're trying to convince you it's not true, or something you know is false, they're trying to convince you it's true. And that can cause cognitive dissonance when you're holding two things, one in one hand and one in the other, and they directly conflict with one another, and it's very confusing, and it causes you to use up all of your emotional energy, and that weakens your ability to get away. So what we're going to talk about today is we're just going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about self-care because the reason I'm not doing my video that I wanted to do, continuing our series that we're doing on Jackson McKenzie, author of Psychopath Free, who wrote another book called Whole Again. And all of us want to be whole. We don't want to be a fragmented version of ourselves. We want to feel whole. We want to feel happy and whole, and like we don't need someone else to complete us. We want to feel whole and complete. And so I was excited to continue that series. We were going to talk this week about finding our true selves and understanding what our true self even is, especially in the light of, growing up in an environment where we weren't even sure who we are. Maybe we were an extension of someone else or what have you. But what I'm trying to get at is I couldn't access the area of my YouTube channel that I would normally set everything up with. It needed me to install a piece of software that I had already installed, but it's telling me to reinstall it. And then it's having me do all this different stuff. And honestly, I went away for 3 days to be with my husband. That's just the truth of the matter. I unplugged from all devices for 3 solid days. And I was able to get away and celebrate my husband's birthday. And getting back on a Monday and trying to figure out new software and do all the things, and I knew before I left that it was acting weird, and that the possibility of this happening was, you know, it was definitely imminent. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow this to stress me out even more than it's already stressing me out. And trust me, it almost did. I was late leaving. I ended up leaving an hour later than I wanted to leave, to get away from my husband's birthday, because I was trying to figure it all out. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to be waiting for me. This is going to be waiting for me when I get back. And no one's going to be mad at me. And if they are mad at me, then I don't know, maybe they'll forgive me at some point, because hello, like, I show up here voluntarily, and I don't think anyone is mad at me because we're not continuing our series. But these are the voices in my head. I think it's important for us to be intimately familiar with the voices in our head. And then we need to figure out if those voices are helpful, you know? So I had this unhelpful voice in my head telling me that you all were going to be mad at me for some reason because I said we were going to continue our series on Jackson McKenzie. And it's just, his books are so helpful, and you know, he has such an interesting, awesome lived experience perspective, and he has such a great editor and a great team. His editorial team is top notch. His publisher's amazing. I love everything about his books, the way they're laid out. I love his presence on camera when he does his interviews. I love his voice that he writes in, the voice that he speaks in. I love how candid he is. It's just really, really, really helpful, especially because my entire career is providing trauma-informed peer support. And he's coming from a lived experience perspective when he's writing these books. And he uses a lot of science to back up what it is that he's doing. So here I have this unhelpful voice in my head telling me last Thursday that you all were going to be mad at me because I couldn't get the YouTube thing to be fixed and whatever. And I'm sure if I were to go into the chat box right now, which I can't see anything because I'm on my phone, I'm sure you all would be saying something along the lines of, oh my gosh, Athena, it's okay. Don't even worry about it. Like, we're just happy to be hanging out, you know, something like that. And if there are people that are mad at me, I do sincerely apologize. I did give it a pretty good effort. I don't want to say I did my best, because I did spend extra time, but not all the time. And you know, I have to believe that you all understand that I'm human. And sometimes being human means that you got to do human things like self-care. And taking care of yourself is really, really, really important. It's really super important for you to take care of yourself, because one of our community members on our daily calls, I just got done leading one of our daily calls. I co-lead daily calls just like this. Just like this. We have psychoeducational discussions, trauma-informed. It's in a peer support environment. It's on a private server. It's not on the internet where everybody else can access it. If you're interested, Poppy has links to all of that. But bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, one of our community members used a phrase today that was so light bulb moment worthy. She said, you know, because self-care, and it is one of those things, it's a use it or lose it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Like, my ability to care for myself and restore my emotional bandwidth and take care of myself so that I don't run on empty, you know, fill myself up so that I can pour out and help others. I only have so much emotional bandwidth in one day. I don't get to store it up from yesterday or tomorrow, you know, and use it all up today. Like I only have a certain amount every single day. And if I take care of myself in a very intentional way, it goes farther. I'm able to do more because I took care of myself. So Poppy, being the brilliant person she is, I'm messaging Poppy and I'm going, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do about YouTube. It's doing this thing, and I'll see you soon, I hope. But if I don't see you, I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. And here I'm thinking I'm going to have to skip a week. And I don't really like skipping a week. I really love hanging out here with you guys. And I'm like doing the black and white thinking. Why am I stuck in black and white thinking about this whole YouTube software download, new platform, new dashboard? Why? Why am I in that place? Well, because I feel like the goalposts were moved. I feel like someone ripped the rug out from underneath me. It's not what they did. They've been warning me in this little bubble in the top right of the computer for like 6 months, but I always just X out of it because I'm like, hello, that doesn't happen till August 1st. I'll deal with it then. And I procrastinate, right? And so here it comes, August 1st, but I'm away for my husband's birthday on August 4th. I'm away for 3 days. So now it's last minute. I procrastinated. They gave me 6 months notice. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And I'm in black and white thinking because I'm in people pleaser mode. I'm operating from a place of fear. I'm not operating from a place of wholeness and completeness and, showing up intentionally with an enthusiastic yes just because I want to be here. No, now all of a sudden I'm trying to jump through some sort of hoops and trying to meet somebody's unspoken expectations. And you know what I mean? So self-care is going to look different for you than it does for me. So your version of self-care today, don't miss this, don't miss this. Your version of self-care today could be that you listen to your body and you drink more water. Your version of self-care today could be that you go to bed a little bit earlier and maybe you turn off your devices a little bit earlier, or maybe you don't watch television, or you decide not to watch Netflix, or maybe your version of self-care is to sit outside. Even if it's, you're having a whiteout and you can't see the water or whatever your view is, and it's windy and rainy, and like even if it's like it is here right now, like maybe it's sitting outside, right? Maybe your version of self-care is to drink more water, get more rest, get outside, turn off your devices. Maybe your version of self-care is to reach out and connect with someone you haven't connected with in a while. Maybe your version of self-care is to sit with some things that have been kind of hard to grasp or hard to accept, and maybe journal about them, maybe write about, maybe draw. Maybe your version of self-care means that you're going to draw something or paint, or maybe your version of self-care is you're going to play a video game. Maybe connect with somebody else who likes to play the same video game and play it with them online. Maybe your version of self-care means that you politely say no with a smile on your face to someone who keeps asking you to do things that you don't want to do. Maybe your version of self-care is allowing yourself to buy that dress that you've wanted to buy for a while but you think you don't deserve it. Or that pair of pants. Or that new tool for your toolbox. Or that poster that you want to hang on your wall, or a piece of artwork. Or you really have wanted to go to Whole Foods instead of your local, big box grocery store, and you keep telling yourself you can't afford to go to Whole Foods. Maybe you just go to Whole Foods one time because you want to show up for yourself in a different way. You save up. I know what it's like to save up week after week after week after week just so you can do something for yourself that you've never done. But for me, you all, my version of self-care today is listening to that message from Poppy, who says, oh, well, don't worry about YouTube. Like, maybe we'll just do a self-care video. And just being like, wow, Poppy, you're brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Here I am, running on some sort of imaginary hamster wheel, trying to live up to all these unspoken expectations, terrified that I'm gonna upset someone. Like, I'm still a work in progress. I'm never gonna sit here and be like, I got this recovery thing, this whole healing from trauma thing, I got it wired. I have arrived. I have this all figured out. You guys are broken. Like, I'm good. Like, that's never gonna be me. You guys know that. You know that I'm gonna be right here beside you. I'm not ever over you, speaking down to you. I'm always right beside you. And I'm going, you know what? This all happens one step at a time, one moment at a time, one small act of self-care at a time. And that is what we're doing today. We are practicing self-care. If you're here on this channel for the very first time, welcome. You showed up on a day when all the things that were supposed to go right, they all went wrong. And this is us improvising. This is me improvising. And if you've been here for almost 5 years now, then welcome back. And I'm so happy to see you. And I hope you'll continue to stay. And if this video ends up giving you a light bulb moment or helping you, or you think it might help someone else, it would mean the entire world to me if you would just give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel, because the more people who vote up or down with the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and the more people who choose to subscribe and click the little button, the little bell that notifies you if the videos go up on the channel, then that just tells YouTube that I'm doing work that matters. I'm doing worthwhile work in this world, where I just want to make this world a better place, a more kind place, where there are more trauma-informed resources from just a very real peer support perspective, not trying to tell you how to heal, not trying to tell you what to do and how to do it, just sharing with you what works and what hasn't worked. I'll tell you what hasn't worked. I'll tell you what doesn't work is when you listen to all the voices in your head that are unhelpful, that are telling you that everybody's mad at you, and you start running through some sort of imaginary hamster wheel, trying to stress yourself out, trying to meet everybody's unspoken expectations, and then you end up feeling crappy about yourself, and then you end up eating your feelings, because that's what I would have done. I probably would have just ended up eating my feelings and feeling bad. Someone's texting me. Can you tell? All these ding, ding, dings. So yeah, that's what's going on here today. That's what we're doing today. So thank you, Miss Poppy, for being my voice of reason. And thanks for always being here, showing up week after week, and to each and every one of you and my Blue Wrench crew and the Mod Squad. You guys are incredible. You guys are totally incredible. You guys are like unicorns. Like, people don't even understand. Like, you just... It is so difficult to find people who not only are trauma-informed and understand what trauma-informed even is, but they want to show up, and they want to help, and they want to help other people heal, and they're just excited to, like, you know, to be here with all of us. Like, that's unique. That's special. And I don't know, I just feel real fortunate and real blessed to know each and every one of you and to be here with all of you, and I'm just grateful. So whether you're here for the first time or you're here for the 1000th time, I'm grateful you're here. And I hope that us just spending some time together here, looking out at the trees blowing the way they are, and the rain going by the way it is. I don't know if you can see the rain, if it's focusing on the rain here, but I hope this brings you peace. I hope this helps someone. I hope that whatever it is you're going through today, that you feel a little bit less alone after having been here with us. That would be my hope. Now I'm gonna get a sip of water here, and I am gonna, maybe I'll go grab that book and maybe I'll read a little bit to you guys. And, oh, do you hear the truck backing up outside? Beep, beep. There's this huge, huge, huge truck backing up outside, right outside. It's just outside of your view, your window of your view, where the trees are. It's like below the trees. I wish you all could see my birdies. They're not here right now, but 6 of them came earlier today. These little, they look like little baby pheasants. They're called Franklins. And then we have 2 Brazilian cardinals. We have 1 northern cardinal. We have a whole bunch of Java sparrows and some mourning doves. And they were all here this morning. It was awesome. There are 2 northern cardinals, 1 male and 1 female. And they normally are together, but only the female showed up this morning. And I'm not sure why. I haven't read up on their behaviors. Maybe the male is sitting on the eggs or something. I'm not sure, but we should have some new Franklin babies coming in the next couple of weeks. And if so, I'll take some videos. But I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna walk across the room, and I'm gonna grab that book, the Jackson McKenzie book. I have both books. I have the Psychopath Free, and I have Whole Again. And again, that's W-H-O-L-E, Whole Again, like complete, not hole like a hole in the ground. And maybe I'll read to you. I'm kind of bummed that I don't get to see each and every one of you and all your comments and so forth, but I'm just grateful to be here with you. So one moment and I will be right back. Ooh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I found this the other day. So I was preparing for tonight. This is right before I realized that I wasn't going to be able to figure out the YouTube situation in time before I left for my husband's birthday. And I was looking through ways that we can find our authentic self and take really good care of ourselves in a way that feels authentic and true and good and safe to us, because each person's individual. No two people are the same. So what works for me, I represent 1/7 billionth of the population. There are 7 billion different ways and different paths that you can take to heal from your trauma. And the way I share is only one of them. So please know that the things I do may not help you. I'm honored that you would consider listening to something that I had to say, but it doesn't mean that it's going to help you. So I found this helpful piece of paper that I've kept with me for 13 years. I know that sounds silly. Athena, why would you hold on to a piece of paper for 13 years? I have 2 pieces of paper that I have been holding on to for 13 years because they have changed my life. Okay? One of them is about my identity, who I am and who I'm not. And the other is about my qualities as it pertains to being a safe person. Am I showing up in a safe way for myself and for others? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by safe? I'll tell you what I mean by safe. Every day, multiple times a day, hundreds, maybe even thousands of times a day, I have a choice. I have a choice to show up in a way that feels authentic and good and safe in my body, or I have a choice to show up and repeat patterns that were modeled for me by abusive and exploitative and neglectful people, toxic people. And the moment I realized I actually had a choice was probably right around 13 years ago. And it wasn't that prior to 13 years ago, there's nothing magical, about that day. It's just that I don't think that I was ready to accept the fact that it was true. And this is big. I don't think I was willing to accept responsibility for my actions. What does that even mean, Athena? Well, it means that I could choose to take the easy way out like many people have before me. Well, I was raised to act this way, or my parents did this, or this is all I know. This is how I was brought up. Let that sink in for a minute. How many times have you heard that? This is going to get some hate. I'm prepared for the hate that's going to come from this. But I was raised in a family where people didn't like people who didn't look like them. I was raised by people who were white, middle class, and dare I say, some of them very ignorant. They didn't like black people. They didn't like Asians. They didn't like Mexican people. They didn't like European people. They didn't like anybody. They didn't look like them or talk like them or act like them. Now, something about that bothered me on a cellular level as early as like age 4. I remember just rebelling against that, and I kept just saying, why? 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 And I was so confused, and I would get in trouble every time. I would get punished and abused every time I would try to buck the system. I wasn't allowed to have friends. I was only allowed to talk to my family. I wasn't allowed to ride the bus. I wasn't allowed to go places. I wasn't allowed to go to birthday parties. I wasn't allowed to do anything unless it was with my family. In other words, people who were controlled by or looked like or acted like the people I was raised by. Now, I understand that that is not a popular thing. It's a horrible thing, and it's definitely not something new. Racism and bigotry is alive and well today in 2019. It's as alive and well today in 2019 as it was back in the 70s when I started realizing that I was in a really weird place with these really weird people who didn't like other people. And I was like, I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. And I would argue. And it was, right? That's just one example. That's just one example. And that's not even the part that's going to get some hate on this video. That's like minor compared to what I'm about to say. I was raised by people who thought they were right about everything. And you want to know something right now? I have a choice every day. Just like people before me, just like people before you. I have a choice every day. I can show up in a way that is open and kind and accepting and loving and helpful and compassionate. Or I can claim it's all I know, it's how I was raised, it's what I was taught. I could be abusive, exploitative, bigoted, racist, mean, rude, or, here's one that's going to get a lot of hate. I could be angry and just say that's how my family, it's a cultural thing. That's how my family is. I have friends who are loud and mean, and you want to know what they say? Oh, we're Italian. That's what we are. We're loud and mean. You need to grow a thicker skin. Told you I was going to get some hate. Someone's Italian. Watch the thumbs down button. It's going to happen like right now. Oh, that's how my family is. That's how we talk to one another. You need to grow a thicker skin. You need to get over yourself. You're always the problem to people who are willing to say it's all they know. That's how I was raised. That's how I was brought up. I was doing the best I could. What else was I supposed to do? I was a teenager. And my children were born when I was a teenager. I was a baby raising babies. What else was I supposed to do? I didn't know any better. You guys, I could show up every single frickin' day and I could choose that, right? I could choose that lane. I could take that line. I could follow that line. I could play that out. But I don't choose to do that. And I'm not saying this from some sanctimonious, holier than thou, I'm better than you, I can do it so everybody else should be able to. No, I'm saying that because I have a choice, you guys. Not only do I have a different identity than I thought I ever had, which is why I hold on to these 2 pieces of paper for 13 years. Not only do I have a different identity than I thought I had, but I have choices in how I show up for myself and for other people. You want to know some questions that I ask myself periodically? Are you ready? Do you have a pen and paper? Do you have your notes app open? Do you have a pencil? Like, you want to know some questions that seriously hold myself I hold myself accountable. I hold myself accountable because I have choices now. How freeing is that I have choices? I have a different identity and I have choices in how I show up in the world. So here's some questions. These are going to sound familiar if you've been on this channel for 5 years. And if you're brand new, welcome. This is me wearing my feisty pants. I'm Little Miss Feisty Pants today. I'm like on a soapbox. Watch it. Like I'm like fired up, obviously. I don't know what it is that got into me, but I'm like, seriously, I think I have just had it with people who claim no responsibility. They're not ready to accept responsibility for their actions. They just want to blame it on their family. If anyone could get a freaking hall pass and blame some shit on their family, like I could do that right now. Each of you here, I see many of you. I don't know each and every one of you, but I see the number of you who are here, and I know who's usually here. I only see a number. I can't see everybody because of the way my phone is doing the weird thing. But I'm telling you right now, you all, many of you could claim, well, that's how I was raised. Well, I didn't know any better. I was doing the best I could. That's how I was raised. That's how my family did it. I didn't have any role models. I didn't have healthy role models. But you don't. You choose different. You choose to show up in a way that feels safe to you and to others. You choose to show up in a compassionate way. You choose to help other people. You choose to help yourself. So here are a list of 11 questions that I ask myself periodically to hold myself accountable, to make sure that I'm not, you know, a total raging hypocrite on YouTube and in life. Because you know, if you do it on YouTube, you're basically doing it in life also. So it's just photographic evidence. Are you ready? Are you ready for these 11 questions? Do I think I have it all together? Do I think I have it all together? Or, this is a two-parter on each of these. Number 1, do I think I have it all together, or am I okay with admitting my weaknesses? That's number 1. Number 2, am I religious and judgmental and thinking that I'm holier than thou and I got it all together? Or am I open and willing to accept anyone right where they're at? Whatever spiritual beliefs you have, whatever place you're in. That's number 2. Am I religious and judgmental, or am I welcoming and open? Welcoming to those who, I want to be that type of person who just meets people where they're at. It's something I care a lot about. A lot. That's number 2. Number 3, do I tend to be defensive on a regular basis? Or am I open to constructive feedback? Here's a fun little side note on number 3 about being defensive versus being open to constructive feedback. Many of you here volunteer through the foundation. You've messaged us and asked if you could become a volunteer, and you could volunteer in some capacity. That means helping us serve this community, whether that's fielding emails and sending out notes of encouragement, or helping us set up free text messaging platforms, or responding individually to people's questions, or helping people find local trauma-informed care in their neighborhoods, or vetting people to go into free safe groups on YouTube, or welcoming people into our online community where we have daily peer support from a trauma-informed perspective on a private server, away from YouTube, away from Facebook, away from the internet, where no one unsafe is allowed. And we welcome you, and we help. We lead calls and we answer questions. There's all these different things. Or you show up here on YouTube every week and you post welcome announcements, or you block the potato trolls and make sure that everyone feels welcome. Whatever capacity it is. This is on number 3 here, on being defensive or open to constructive feedback. Many of you who volunteer through the foundation know that I have one rule if you're going to volunteer with us in a formal capacity, and that means your face is on the website under the team tab, and you got a little bio there and a picture, and you know, you're in charge of a certain area of helping, right? I have one rule, and one rule only, that we start with, and that is that you have to start with no. If we offer, we let you know what we need help with, the things that we would like help with, you have to start with the word no. You have to start with no. You're not allowed to say yes out of some sort of people-pleasing compulsion. And we ask for your feedback. We want you to help us make this thing great. We want you to help us make it special. I believe that this community deserves the most special, beautiful, safe space in the entire world. Why? Because we're a community of people that many, our families didn't even care about us. So much so that they abused us, or rented us out, or sold us, or traded us for goods and services, or just allowed us to have horrible things happen to us. So what am I doing to make that right? I'm providing the most beautiful, special, safe, awesome place in the whole world for you to come and feel heard, and feel validated, and feel safe, and to walk away feeling better than you did when you showed up. So again, number 3 is important to me. I really do my best to not be defensive. I really do my best to be open to constructive feedback, because I know that I can't make this thing beautiful and amazing and special and safe on my own. I can only do it with your feedback. Number 4, am I self-righteous, thinking that I'm right about everything and that my way, it's my way or the highway? Or am I humble? I think you guys know the answer to that. I try to be very humble. I try to come at this from a place of humility, knowing that I have a lot to learn. And I know that I'll never arrive, and that I'll always be right here beside you, and never over you or farther than you, above you, talking down to you, telling you what works and what doesn't work. Because again, I represent 1/7 billionth of the population. My healing path is definitely, probably not going to be yours. Yours is going to be different, and I have a lot to learn from each of you. Number 5, if I have a need to apologize to someone, do I apologize and make amends and do what needs to be done to make it right? Or do I simply say, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, and move on and don't do anything about it? It's not my proudest moment, but I can admit that I've been that person before. Oops, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Sorry this didn't work out. We can agree to disagree and part as friends. Sadly, that has happened a couple of times, and sometimes it's a judgment call. Sometimes you have to have healthy boundaries with people who are not in alignment with the vision you have for the greater purpose of your life. But overall, I do set my intention to say what I mean and mean what I say. And if I have something to apologize for, I will usually try to be the first person to apologize and own it and do whatever I can to make it right. Not always, but I do try. I do try to make that a priority in my life as a general rule. That's number 5. Number 6, do I avoid working on my problems instead of dealing with my own junk? Or do I address my own healing and do my own healing so that I can help others? I can honestly tell you that for years, I just avoided working on my own junk. And the way I filled that void is I just helped as many people as I could help. For years, I would just answer the emails. I would wake up and there would be emails. And I would just pour myself out and I would help as many people as I could. I'd respond to as many tweets as I could. I'd respond to as many DMs as I could. Respond to as many messages as I could. Send out as many encouraging memes and help as many people and, light myself on fire to keep everybody else warm. Bend over backwards. Not take care of myself. As long as I helped everybody else, that's all that mattered. But I can't do that anymore because I learned very quickly, not as quickly as I would have liked, but I learned very quickly over the course of a couple years that I have to deal with my own junk. I have to face my own demons. I have to work on my own trauma, work on my own recovery, chase after my own wellness so that I can be here for a long period of time helping a lot of people. Number 7, do I demand that other people trust me blindly? Or do I know that trust is earned over time? And do I just offer a space for people? This is one that isn't really difficult for me. I'm not the type of person that believes that people should blindly trust anyone. I've never been that way. I don't think I was born that way. I was the type of person that just blindly trusted everyone, and maybe that's why I'm not like that now. But I think I was forced to trust people. And I believed that I would just trust everyone until they proved themselves to be not worthy of my trust. And I think I learned at some point in my 20s that that was kind of the opposite. Like I needed to not trust people until I learned and could tell if they were worthy of my trust or not. And that's a really hard corner to turn. If you were groomed and told and forced to trust people, then it's going to be difficult for you to break that cycle and turn that corner. It was difficult for me. It's been a long 20 years or so, but I've been learning over the past 20 years or so that trust is earned, and it takes a while before I can trust people. I need to be able to trust my own self. That comes from not being able to trust my own self, by the way. And why don't I trust my own self? Why? Because I was gaslit for most of my life, and I need to heal my intuition. How do I heal my intuition? I heal it through congruence. What is congruence? Congruence is making sure that my thoughts and my words and my intentions and my actions all line up with one another. I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and I purpose myself to do certain things, and then I follow through. And I only do what feels safe in my body. I only do what I have an enthusiastic yes on the inside matched up with an enthusiastic yes on the outside. If I have a no on the inside, then I need to have the courage to say no gracefully. And that's a hard thing, considering that when I was little, if I said no, I was punished. And not only punished like small kind, little bit, but like big time punished. Like abused, neglected, bullied, ridiculed, screamed at, taunted, terrorized. exploited, or the deadly silence, the withholding of love, the glances of disgust, the glances of disdain. Those are worse. Those are worse than the terrorizing and the bullying and the abuse. The glances of disgust and disdain are the worst. Number 8, do I believe I am perfect, or do I admit my faults? I think many of you have gotten to know me over the last 5 years or so. And some of you are brand new, but spoiler alert, I'm pretty open to admitting my faults. One could say that I admit my faults to a fault, meaning that I can use self-deprecating humor as a redirect if I'm feeling uncomfortable and if I'm in pain. Like if I'm dealing with the reality of something really painful, I can use self-deprecating humor in a way that, you know, will draw attention away from everybody else and onto me in a very self-deprecating, hilarious, funny sort of way. Because that's just my way of dealing with the pain of admitting my own faults. Because when you're a child and you do something wrong, it is everything in you tells you that you should say, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. And or you try to say, it was me, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and no matter what you did, you're caught in a catch-22, you're in a double bind. It is literally crazy making. No matter what you did when you were little, you could either own it and say you were sorry, or you could deny it and say it was him, it was her, it wasn't me. And no matter what, you were still abused, or you were still unloved, or you were still yelled at, or you were still treated poorly. So now, as an adult, I certainly do not believe I'm perfect, but I definitely am willing to admit my faults from a place of humility, because I know that I'm going to screw up every single day and that I have room to improve every single day. And I think that that is what makes me great at what I do. I think that that quality lined up with just providing a safe, compassionate place for other people, I think they complement one another. Because I'm never coming from a place of, I have it all figured out, you guys are screwed, good luck with that, like I've arrived. Like the opposite of that is me showing up and saying, I've been there. In fact, I was there earlier today. You're not alone. I'll sit with you. It's painful. I promise it gets better. I don't have all the answers, but I'll offer you some virtual tea and cookies, or some virtual safe hugs, or a virtual high five. Because I'm not perfect and I don't have it figured out. I mess up way more than I get things right. But the coolest thing is that for what I do for a living, which is, you know, to be here around survivors and provide a safe space for people to come heal together as peers, it's okay for me to be screwed up. It's okay for me to be like, wow, I totally blew it. Like I thought I would get that right. And I didn't, and I'm really sorry. And I'll try to do better tomorrow, you know? So that's number 8. Do I believe I'm perfect, or do I admit my faults? That was number 8. Number 9, these are the last 3, 9, 10, and 11. Number 9 is, do I blame others, or do I take responsibility? And I think we started the conversation off in this direction, where I said I was going to get some hate about being raised by people who are bigots and racists, and some of them quite ignorant, filled with hate. I want every day of my life to be a day that I accept responsibility for my actions, and I learn from my mistakes, and I move forward intentionally wanting to do better. That's number 9. Do I blame others? It's not even always blaming someone else. People blame the government. They blame their boss. They blame the post office. They blame their landlord. They blame traffic. They blame their car. They blame their dog. They blame the school system. They blame their brother, their sister, their mother, their aunt, their uncle, their grandmother, their kids. They blame everybody. They blame everything. One could say, I'm blaming YouTube for the fact that we got to have this video today instead of the one that I wanted to do. But I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of grateful I didn't figure the whole thing out, because this has been really wonderful to just sit here and be able to share with you guys my heart. So number 9 is, do I blame others or do I accept responsibility? Do I take responsibility? Number 10, do I lie on a regular basis or do I tell the truth? I'm definitely not honest all the time, but 99.9% of the time I think I'm as honest as I can be. Sometimes I'm honest to a fault, and I do that to like overcompensate for the fact that sometimes I say things that aren't completely true. Like my husband said something the other day, and I'm like, I have no idea. I was busy. I worked 12 hours. And like, of course, I had only worked like 11 hours or something. But I was like speaking hyperbolically because I was just feeling bad that he asked me about something that I didn't do, that I told him I was going to do and I wanted to do. But instead I got defensive, which was number 3. I got defensive. And I told him I worked 12 hours, which I only had worked 11 hours. Which I ended up telling him, you know, like, by the way, I didn't work 12 hours. I only worked 11 hours. I was just making excuses. And I felt bad. But anyway, number 10 is, do I lie a lot? And my answer is no. Or do I tend to tell the truth more often than not? And I would say that's the truth for me. I feel kind of gross inside and incongruent if I'm dishonest. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like, and I've felt that way from the time I was a little girl. I can remember being very, 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 very little and just like, I didn't like it. I would rather just say the true thing and then get in trouble for it, because I didn't like the way that it made me feel gross. Like, you want to know what I told myself when I was little? This is kind of scary, but I told myself when I was little that I would never tell a lie, because if I did tell a lie, I was going to be just like them, because they lied all the time. They lied and they stole and they were mean and they were hateful and they were abusive and they were weird and rude, and they all just made excuses for it. And so I told myself when I was little that when I grow up, I would never tell a lie, ever, 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 because if I did, I would turn out just like them. And so I think that makes me feel like that black and white childlike thinking that you get stuck in sometimes, especially if you're doing inner child work and trauma therapy. Like, I feel like if I'm even just the tiniest bit dishonest, that I'm somehow gonna like turn into my mother, right? Or like that same line of thinking is what caused me to not drink alcohol ever, because I was absolutely convinced that if I had a glass of wine with dinner that I was gonna turn into my family. And you know, I feel much more at peace when I am truthful and honest, and I feel much more at peace when I'm clear-minded, and it just feels better. You know what I mean? So anyway, number 10 is, do I lie instead of telling the truth? And the last one is, am I stagnant or am I seeking to grow every single day? If you think about stagnant, I think about water. I think about like a puddle that is still water. There's no inlet or outlet. There's no fresh water coming in or moving so that water can go through. And so it becomes like there's that like pond scum or that like weird film, and then like mosquitoes can lay eggs, and like it's just disgusting, and there's like bugs and like and just horrible, bad, gross, like stagnant, right? That's the visual that comes to mind for me. And I don't want to be associated with this still puddle of water with film and mosquito eggs and bugs and grime and grossness. Like, I want to seek to grow personally and professionally every single day of my life. And I've been that way for a really long time. Some days I do, and some days I just hold on for dear life and hope I don't die. Because that's complex trauma. That's recovering from complex trauma. Thank you, CPTSD. But number 11 is, am I stagnant instead of growing? So just to recap, if someone wants to post this in the chat box, whatever the timestamp is right now, or a few seconds ago, I'm going to recap all 11 of these. If someone wants the Reader's Digest abbreviated version, when they click on this video, you can note whatever the timestamp is, and this will be helpful for future people. So here we go. These are 11 questions I ask myself on a regular basis to hold myself accountable in my life, and it's been life-changing for me, so much so that I've held on to this piece of paper with these 11 questions on it for 13 years. And if you never watch another video on this channel, I want you to walk away today with tools that you can learn and grow from, and that will help you in your life. And maybe you'll write these down and you'll hold on to that piece of paper for 13 years the same way I've held on to this piece of paper for 13 years, because it's been that life-changing for me. So here we go. These are the 11 questions I ask myself on a regular basis. And if you want to know the rest of this and like the story behind all of these, you'll have to watch the rest of the video. But if you clicked on this and you're showing up here now and you're only going to watch the next few minutes of this video, and just to listen to these 11 questions, then go in peace. And I'm grateful that you clicked, and I hope and pray that your healing journey is filled with joy, and that you walk away feeling better than you did when you showed up here. And again, you're welcome to watch the whole rest of this video up until now, but if you just showed up here for right now, these are the 11 questions I ask myself on a regular basis, and they've helped me heal. Number 1, do I have it all together instead of admitting my weaknesses? Number 2, am I religious and judgmental, or am I open and accepting of others, meeting people where they're at? Number 3, am I defensive instead of being open to constructive feedback? Number 4, am I self-righteous, thinking I have it all together and perfect, my way or the highway, or am I humble? Number 5, when I need to apologize to someone, am I sincere in my apology, doing the best I can to make amends for what I've done wrong? Number 6, do I avoid working on my problems instead of dealing with them? Number 7, do I demand that people trust me instead of earning trust over time? Understanding that trust is earned, and trust is a gift, and it's something very sacred that you don't hold lightly. Number 8, do I believe I am perfect instead of admitting my faults? Number 9, do I blame others, or do I take responsibility for myself and my actions and my thoughts and my words and my deeds? Number 10, do I lie instead of telling the truth? And number 11, am I stagnant, or do I seek to grow personally and professionally and in my own healing journey on a daily basis? So that's my 11 questions. That's my piece of paper I've held on to and cherished. One of the 2 pieces of paper I've held on to for 13 years. And I'm glad I got to share those questions with you. I hope they help you. I hope sitting here today with me was a helpful means of self-care for you. And I'm not sure what the video will be about next week. It depends on how much time I get to figure out the YouTube software download platform deal, you know, like I was talking about. But I do hope to see you back. I'm here every week, Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing this for about 5 years. I'll be here in some capacity, whether it's in something like this or with a screen share and talking about some sort of a specific topic, and maybe continuing our series on Jackson McKenzie, who wrote Psychopath Free and Whole Again. It's all about healing from toxic relationships or toxic upbringing. I add the toxic upbringing part because many of the people that are here on this channel grew up in toxic homes, and they don't have the life skills and the coping skills necessary to navigate adult interpersonal relationships as a result of healthy relationships never being modeled for them during childhood. So we talk a lot about that on this channel. So thank you so much for trusting me with your Mondays. Whether this is your first time or you've been here for 5 years, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life. Thank you for being in my life. I consider myself very fortunate. And I will see you all very, very soon. If you like having discussions like this, I lead discussions like this. I co-lead and host a platform where discussions like this are had every single day, 365 days a year for 45 minutes a day, every day without fail, at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Poppy has a link to that, and maybe we'll put a link in the comment section or something as well. I'm super grateful for each and every one of you. I don't know what else to say other than I'm just so grateful to be here and to have such a gift and such a privilege of being able to hang out with you and speak with you all. So I will see, if I don't see you on the daily calls, or we have a book club. A book club is every Saturday, and all the funds that are raised by the book club go into our scholarship fund, which help other people who don't have money and they need trauma-informed peer support. So Poppy has a link to that as well, and that's every Saturday. So if I don't see you somewhere on all the different things that we have going on, then I will see you back here on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Oh, if you haven't signed up for our free daily encouraging texting, I believe it is cptsdfoundation.org/text, TEXT, and that's United States numbers only for right now. I don't know how to do international numbers yet, but if you're interested in receiving a free daily encouraging text, then go to cptsdfoundation.org/text, and it's just really exciting, you guys. There's tons of free resources. There's hundreds of hours of videos on this channel. There's hundreds of hours of amazing trauma-informed peer support over in the members area, where we host it at cptsdfoundation.org, the members area, the daily calls, hundreds of chat transcripts in a safe, private environment that's trauma-informed, and then it's not, open to the public. It's private. So wherever it is I see you, please know that I'm grateful and blessed and consider myself fortunate to be there with you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. If you're a praying person, please pray for me. I have another dentist appointment tomorrow. I have several of them coming up. I just had one less than a week ago, and I have another one tomorrow, and then I have another one in a couple weeks, and then another one, and another one, and another one. So if you are a praying person, please add me to your prayer list, your prayer chain, your prayer circle, your prayer group, whatever it is. I will accept and graciously receive your prayers. Because, yeah, the whole dentist situation was part of my exploitation and part of my abuse, and it's super traumatizing. So I found an amazing trauma-informed dentist. They're incredible. They're bending over backwards to help me heal. But I will accept your prayers, like for real. Like I need legit prayer warrior status prayers, because it, like, I almost don't make it out the door when I go. I got to drive an hour and 10 minutes to get there. And then I got to be there. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then I got to, oh, anyway, it's a lot. So, anyhow, if you're a praying person, please pray for my dental situation. My goodness. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that's what self care looks like for me tomorrow. I'm taking care of my teeth tomorrow. That's self care. Thanks for being here, you all. Sending you so much love. I love and appreciate each and every one of you so much. I'll see you soon.